the mods to be trigger happy with timeouts. Did they... That person get... They just got timed out. Yeah, timeouts are whatever. People come back from timeouts. You should start a second stream, which is blunt parenting advice from an MTG pro. Gosh, this hand is so close to good. If this was a green source, I'd snap this off because I'm a lucker, but it is not a green source. This hand's not great, but it's keepable. I'm in the market for that. I don't think I want to mulligan aggressively for a 2-drop. We don't actually have that many 2-drops, right? We have a couple. I think I'll take the guaranteed 3-drop on 3 here. I'd listen to a Jeff and Matt Life podcast. Some kind of Death Shadow variant that's leading on Steam Vents? It sounds like Declan is ready to be done from his nap. I probably should have grabbed him before I started the league. I'm gonna go get him. I'll be right back. I love you. Oh no. Maybe they're team. No, they're not Scape Shift, right? Because they have Mishra's Bubble. It could be some kind of twin variant. The question is, do I want to use my Bolt aggressively here, or do I want to save it for some kind of creature? The other thing too, though, is like, you know, assuming thing about kids based on their age, like that could be a tough racket too, because like you don't know if there's like maybe they're a special needs child or they have some kind of developmental disability. So like just because a child looks a certain age doesn't mean that you should necessarily like expect them to know everything and understand what's going on. Like it's just tough. Like it's just a good general rule of thumb is like don't assume to know someone's situation basically. Logic Knot smells like... Oh, it is Delver, actually. They binned a Delver off the... They binned a Delver off the Thought Scour. I mean, it depends on the format you're looking to go into. If you want to grind more, Bloodbraid into Souls is great. If you don't want... Well, like... So someone just asked about Bloodbraid plus collected companies. There's 27 collected company hits in this deck, which is like a little on the low side, but like I think it's fine. I don't know. Again, this isn't my deck list, so I'm not attached to the decision one way or another. We could find out that collected company is just a little bit medium here, because those 27 hits do include 4 Noble Hierarchs, which are like hits. They're not really great hits. What they traverse for? They traverse for a basic land? They traverse for Tarmogoyf, but they only have 1 green source. Okay. So do I... God, our mana is super awkward. I almost cut one of the colorless sources from this deck before I played it, but I wanted to give the deck a chance before playing it. But I think 2 Ghost Quarters might be a little greedy in here. I think the 2 Ghost Quarters might be greedy on top of this Kessig Wolf Run. Charfire, yep. Their Goyf is huge. You're not wrong, Larinax. It's just like, nope, I didn't make any of the choices here. We're just trying to feel out someone else that made choices. Yeah, playing Magic Online as a free roll is also great. Also excellent, 10 out of 10. Okay, I mean, this getting in plus a Lightning Bolt ends the game. They're down to 5 here because they've taken so much damage off their mana. That being said, this Tarmogoyf closes pretty quickly on the backswing. Yeah, Charfire's like the fourth Lightning Bolt, basically, or the fifth Lightning Bolt that also grows Tarmogoyf. So this is a 6/7 because there's a tribal card in there. If we would have hit the land there, we'd be in a pretty good spot because we could jam the company this turn, but this Rallier looking pretty awkward as well. So we have 2 cards left here. God, could you imagine how unplayable this card would be if it cost 3 mana? He's very often GG. So Magic card, just extract it. Opponent went bottom there, and they only have 1 card in their hand. So hopefully this company backed up by this bolt is going to be good here. All right, well, that's a pretty good hit. So I think I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, I can just attack them for 1 plus bolt them here potentially too, right? Yeah, actually, this is great because I get to bolt them for... I get to bolt them for lethal and then Renegade Rallier here. Okay. Well, this means my collected company is guaranteed to resolve. I'm sure it's just going to, like, put a bunch of cards in the bottom of my deck, but we'll see. I'm going to bolt this Noble. Fetch a basic forest here. Cast this collected company. Oh, you know what? This was a small mistake. We didn't get punished for it, but I should have cast this collected company in response to the Snapcaster Mage trigger because I could have found a Voice of Resurgence. So it's a really small mistake, and I didn't find Voice, so I'm not getting punished for it. But oh wait, actually, I am getting punished for it because I'm getting a Voice back out of my discard pile, right? Yeah, so actually we are getting punished for it. So I could have had a Voice of Resurgence token here, or have my Noble Hierarch still be alive and attacking. So it's actually a pretty big mistake there. So we would have cost our opponent some amount of resources if I would have timed that slightly better. I wasn't supposed to be any justice here. So you're dead? You're actually just dead on board, right? Like I could have just like given something trample and killed them, but might as well give them the bolt. Give them the boltness. Just also killed them with Kessig. Blessed Alliance doesn't seem terrible here. No, they were dead on board just to like how they block and then use the Kessig Wolf Run. What happened to the Jeff that I once do? It's so many choices, I don't understand. So, something that might be wrong about this sideboard, just looking at this, is that I don't want Qasali Pridemage in this matchup, but I don't really have other creatures to board in here, because like I'm boarding down to 25 collected company hits, which is why I'm going to trim 2 companies here, and that doesn't feel particularly good. So I'm cutting a company because I'm cutting company targets. So ideally, when I'm cutting bad targets like these, I should have other things in my sideboard that I can bring in to keep my total collected company hits up. Domri Rade is for control decks. Mostly. He generates card advantage through his +1. God, these ghost quarters. I think I'm going to keep this just because, like, Voice is really good in this matchup, and we're on the draw, but we could definitely just, like, never draw another non-colorless land and die. BBE Bonfire is a non-bow. Again, this is someone else's deck list, so we're just... Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Nathan Gull. It's exactly what my hand that's light on lands wanted, right? A 4-drop. Should MTG be programmed to run that command? Well, we don't always play donation deck. Sometimes we play my own. Like, Kiki card choices are mine. I really like Blessed Alliance. I think that card's super flexible right now. It's good against Burn. It's good against Bogles. It's good against random large creatures. It's great against humans. If you didn't see us savage humans with their Phantasmal images with that last night. This is basically my standard deck from 2013. There is no second day of Lantern. I sent people's money back or they changed it to other deck lists. Maybe I'm supposed to get a red source there. Because I have this lightning bolt I could cast if I have a red source. Yeah, these colorless lands really suck. Excuse me. No, not really. Noob Shuta with the 2-month $4.99 subscription. Thank you very much and welcome back. I do appreciate that. Thanks for re-upping. As always, subscriptions are the best way you can support my content here. I have red mana now. Two forests and 2 plains. All right. If we hit a forest, we can cast a bunch of spells. Like, they're not exactly doing anything. So the Blessed Alliance actually got us there because we couldn't Ghost Quarter ourselves in response to this. Playing worse viewer decks, more profitable than playing good decks and winning more. Well, my content is more popular with more variety. So, yeah, probably. Ever since we started doing the donation deck list, we kind of popped up and snowballed my content a good bit. We're just bidding Voice here, right? Because that needs a green source and a white source. Whereas if I hit just white, I can cast this, right? Just green, I can cast these. Is this my deck? I have no idea. If you're the one that donated for Naya Company with some Bloodbraid Elves in it, then probably. I really should add a donated column to the donation deck list, but I just only have so much time in the day and there's already a lot of things to track. It is a gross looking Blood Moon, you're not wrong. The actual art on the Blood Moon itself isn't bad, but these frames are just so hideous. Just so hideous. Hey, Nick Faller, that brand new Twitch Prime support. Thanks for sending your Amazon fun money this way this month. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, sorry. So someone was talking about Commander. There's just, I don't have enough time in the day to play all of the Modern and Legacy decks that we have. Like, people even sent in for Pauper because I said I was going to do that again. But honestly, I don't even think we're going to really get into Pauper. I'm going to play the couple of deck lists that we have in the queue. But there's so much demand for Modern content that it's kind of, and I'm enjoying playing Modern, especially since the most recent changes with Jason Bloodbraid Elf have increased my enjoyment of the format even more. So if there's a high demand for this format, I don't really see the need to like branch out into the other formats nearly as much. Yeah, from a viewer perspective, I agree. I think Modern is one of the most engaging formats in terms of spectator magic, just because there's so much deck variety coupled with and the variance that's built into the format makes the matches more exciting than a lot of other spectator magic could possibly be. Actually, KenDog, I think as someone who was a big Modern is linear person for a long time, if you look at the Pro Tour data and the decks that have been doing well in Modern, especially after, like, even pre-Bloodbraid Elf and Jace, I think the Modern was very interactive, and post-Bloodbraid and Jace, that's certainly the case. So I think it's really disingenuous to say that this format is very linear. Like, saying Modern right now is very linear is like saying Legacy sucks because it's all Charbelcher decks and red-black Reanimator decks. Like, we know that that's not the case, and we know that there's actually a lot of variety in Legacy as a format, but, like, judging it based on, like, this very small subset of things is silly. They both definitely have ups and downs, but I think Modern actually has more variety than Legacy currently. The Deathrite Shaman, Brainstorm, Force of Will, Ponder, like those like good stuff mush core, like a lot of the best decks in Legacy kind of all play around the same core. Yeah, I agree, Japes, ATL. I think, actually, so honestly, I think one of the things that pushed Modern towards being a format that I enjoy more was the Humans deck being a popular, powerful deck in Modern is like the perfect deck to have be a good deck in the format. It's just like this good, honest aggro deck that you can interact with on a lot of axes, but it's still very powerful and has good results. This hand is not keepable. We want hands that could fetch some basics since our opponent's Blood Mooning us, but like this hand's keepable. Like we actually have Blood Moon in our sideboard, but and that game just really showed like that's what Blood Moon does. Blood Moon isn't about punishing people. I actually think Blood Moon is one of the most obnoxious cards in Modern, right up there with Tron and Ensnaring Bridge, but like it's there because it's powerful and it steals games. No, I don't think I need outs to Moon. I think I'd rather just fetch my basics. I think a lot of our hands have access to basic lands, and the fact that we got Blood Mooned out of that game was more a symptom of the fact that I just didn't draw lands more than Blood Moon being good against us. Like, had we actually drawn lands that game, we would have been able to play through a Blood Moon. I don't really get into the whole Vorthos thing. I just think Humans generates a good quality of gameplay that I'm interested in playing with and against. Yeah, I agree, Cusco. Deathrite Shaman and some of the other cards, Legacy is very much about having this like critical mass of cards that you must play, and Deathrite kind of adds another card that's like on that must play list. And it kind of narrows like which cards you can reasonably playing as a fair deck in Legacy. These, this will knock them to 12. Scavenging Ooze is okay here. The fact that it dies to Lightning Bolt kind of sucks, but it will get to shrink the Scoif a little bit, hopefully. And like you have to remember that much like Modern, a big part of Legacy is that it's just a bunch of people playing decks that they enjoy playing, which means there's a bunch of people that are playing decks that actually aren't very good, but because Magic and Wizards of the Coast is so good or bad or whatever you want to call it about obscuring data, we really don't have objective information about what's good, bad, or otherwise and what's performing well. It's like Eternal Weekend, they posted the full breakdown of information about like what did well at the event, and like Grixis Delver was like, I think it was like 7% of the tournament entries, but it was like 15% of the top finishing decks in the tournament. So it's like, well, this deck wasn't a big percentage of tournament. Oh, I should crack this fetch in case I hit a Renegade Rallier. Oh, I could have cracked this in response to Renegade Rallier on the stack, right? I could have practiced in response to Renegade Rallier on the stack. That was a mistake. Should have held that fetch land. Alright, so I attack with this. This is for 5. It puts them to 4. There's no reason to attack with this 2 because this has double exalted. This tap, just so I have it for later in case you draw like Kessig Wolf Run. Yeah, and that's exactly true too. Like, even if people wanted to be more competitive in Legacy and like change decks, it's so expensive to be fluid in the format that it's just not feasible for most people to be fluid in the format. Am I just blocking here? I think I'm just blocking here and getting a 4/4. Yeah, I was kind of surprised the opponent made that attack there. So if they crack this fetch, this must be a Huntmaster of the Fells, right? Because otherwise this fetch puts them dead to 2 different attackers. Yeah, it's a Huntmaster. Okay. Looking for another BBE or a Bolt or a Collected Company. That's castable at least. They probably need to block both of these. Guess they don't have to. Oh, fuck. I should have... This was a huge punt. I was thinking, and this is kind of like the autopilot where like I'm talking about what I do. If this was in play, my opponent would have to block the elemental here. So it was a big mistake not to play this pre-combat. I was just reading chat and talking and just clicked into combat thinking about what they were doing with the Huntmaster. That's probably going to cost us the game. It's probably going to cost us the game. Because like the Huntmaster would be off the table. The same thing that Death Rate is doing Legacy kind of why I don't want Stoneforge Mystic unbanned in Modern. It makes white decks more boring to build. But like, okay, Cuzco, what white decks does it make boring to build? Like, I'll accept that it makes decks boring to build, but like, what decks that are actually good in Modern right now does Stoneforge Mystic make boring? Are there already tier 1 decks in Modern that Stoneforge Mystic comes in and makes boring? Because I don't think there's any tier 1 decks in Modern right now. Like, Blue-White Control is like fringe tier 1. It's been putting up results, so like, maybe that gets pushed up and has to play Stoneforge Mystic. But like, there really aren't other decks that are very good in Modern that Stoneforge Mystic suddenly shoes right into. Yeah, missing that this here, they would have I would have either kept the BBE or they would have killed their Huntmaster. Now they're gonna need to flip this Huntmaster over. Nope, guess not. Looking for bolts, looking for collected companies, looking for Bloodbraid Elves. Yeah, voice is okay. This lets my elemental attack in here. Because now this is hitting for 7. Yeah, and that's only good, right? Like, it's arguably worse than Jund at this point. These Noble Hierarchs will probably be relegated to chump blocking duty next turn. This fetch land is dead because they're at 1. And honestly, I'm really hopeful that they'll introduce cards like I'm really hopeful that they'll reintroduce cards like Stoneforge Mystic into Modern, because like these Bloodbraid Elf and Jace unbannings are the first ones in a long time that show that they're really like willing to take that kind of risk with it. Yes, between a Braid and Culligan's Command, there are so many clean answers to Bloodbraid Elf. Well, if they don't play a creature here, we're just smashing with all three of these, right? It's unfortunate. They can't attack here though, right? Unless they have another Goyf. I'm probably supposed to attack with both of these, right? Now I'm going to do this first. See what we get. Because I don't want to lose. I want to know how many... Like, I could brick on creatures here. That's pretty good for us. That's pretty good for us. We can't pay for Mana Leak, but... I could offer this trade here. I think this trade's fine. I can double block here and trade. I don't want to attack with both because my elemental will die when my voice dies. So I think I'm okay trading an elemental for a Tarmogoyf here though. I think I'm okay with that exchange, so go. Blue-white control, auto play 4, but the company decks and those other decks, those aren't good decks. So what you're saying is Stoneforge Mystic would take decks that are currently not tier 1 and make them better, which makes it a really good unban for the format in my opinion. If it would take decks that are bad and escalate their power level, that's a good thing. Also, Stoneforge Mystic is not free in collected company decks like you're implying because it requires you to have non-creature cards in your deck. Oh, they can snap Bolt here now because I blocked like that. They could snap Bolt here. We could actually be in a little bit of trouble here if they have a Snapcaster. They can snap Bolt the token, and then we are only at 8, and then they can trade the Snapcaster with the voice. The only thing Stoneforge would do in Modern, in my opinion, is it would take the decks that people play that are terrible and help them realize how terrible they are. Oh, wouldn't trade because of Noble. Yeah, good call. Good call. Bloodbraid Elf or Bolt off the top would be ideal. Take a second voice. Why not? They have to block here anyways. And this lets me chump block and then still have 2 attackers next turn, which is nice, so I don't die to something random. I wish they'd just rip the Storm Band-Aid off so we could play Ponder and Preordain. I'm so sick of not having nice cantrips so Storm can exist. I would much rather play with Ponder and Preordain than have Storm exist in the format. You want this one?
This one, too. Make this one. Do like this one. This one.
Let's try this one, Jake. So, 1, they don't really print good equipment anymore. And 2, if you're worried about breaking Stoneforge Mystic in the future, you can re-ban it when you break it. Unbanning a card doesn't mean that card has to be legal for forever in Modern. The ban list can be fluid. You can take cards on and off the ban list. So let's say they unban Stoneforge Mystic now, and 3 or 4 years from now, they want to print some really busted equipment into Standard that breaks Stoneforge Mystic in Modern, then reevaluate Stoneforge Mystic in Modern at that point. And then this is the point where, when I talk about banning and unbanning, that people talk about it costs people too much to lose their cards. The same company that bans and unbans Magic cards controls the cost of the secondary market. So if price is a concern, Wizards could make the cards cheaper and more accessible. Declan, do not throw your tablet. You're done. Throw it again and you're done with it. I'm taking it away.
I'm going up the guy. I'm going up the guy. Whoa! Oh, that's hard.
This hand's great, right? You get to go 1, 2, 3 on the play. 1, 2, 3. Maybe this too, depending on what they're playing.
Oh.
All right, you're done. No, you're done. I told you to throw it again. You were done. We're gonna have a moment of silence while Declan works out his frustration for being told he can't have his on because he was being bad with it. I think I'd actually rather play Thalia here to have the potential to slow their mana down next turn in case they have another non-basic land. Like, we're putting them to 10 here. We might be a turn slow if they have a good hand. Might be a turn slow here. We'll see. If they have like a Baral this turn. I assume we're dead next turn. God, we're so close to having them dead. So close. Well, I guess this means they can't use either of these for colored mana, right? Am I dead? He might not be deterministically dead yet. Probably a pretty good chance that we're dead. He can always be rebanned, right? Ain't that the truth? We were so close. We were so close. We just actually don't have tools for this matchup. Got like some removal, but that's about it. Pridemage doesn't really do anything. Yeah. Under controlling the secondary market. Wizards of the Coast dictates the price of effectively every card in the game. If Wizards of the Coast wanted any card to cost less money, they have the ability to do that. Believe it or not, Wizards of the Coast could take the 10 most expensive cards that are legal in Modern, and they could print a special box set of them and sell them at the local game store for $20 total, or $50 total, or probably even $100 total, and nerds would eat them up because it would be a good deal to pay $100 for 10 cards. Okay, yeah, you can have that. I get that there's people that play Magic with the goal of like playing the finance game, but like I hate that that's my least favorite part about the game. I play Magic to be able to like play games with other people, and I am one of the very lucky individuals who I get to borrow cards. I don't own Magic cards, so like I need a deck, I can usually get every card I need for it without paying any money. Most people aren't like that. I need other people to play with, and if other people can't get cards reasonably, that's bad for me and bad for the game. Like I can't play if other people can't play. It isn't about me, and that's why I always love the legacy curmudgeons who are like, well, you just need to be able to save your money and buy the $2,000 or $3,000 deck. It's like, it's not about me having money to get one deck. It's about 40 other people. It's about 40 other people having money to build a deck to play with me. Which one do you want, Declan? I think the reserve list is crap. I think the reserve list just hurts formats like Legacy. And if you enjoy the reserve list, that's fine. Yes, Declan. Okay, it's loading. Probably dead. Oh, not dead yet. Dead next turn, though. Concede and move on to the next one here. I guess we could have drawn a bolt there, but we're pretty likely to just die on their untap. Pretty likely to just die on their untap. I haven't been playing Standard.
Outside B. Outside B. Outside.
Oh, that feels bad. I think I'm going to keep this. We're on the place. This is a little greedy, but this hand runs off some lands. It's pretty good. In your opinion, what's the best Frontier deck? Land. Classic bottom Bloodbraid Elf. Draw Bloodbraid Elf. Thanks, Magic Online. Hey, Adamain, with that 10-month Twitch Prime resubscription. It's a long time. Thanks for re-upping your Amazon Fun Money here. Welcome back. I do appreciate that. Missing that land drop there is probably the death knell, especially if they if they ice our Noble Hierarch here, which they're likely to be able to do. I mean, like, Magic Online's like the perfect example of like Wizards of the Coast doesn't want these formats to be super accessible, right? Because like Magic Online's the one place where they're not constrained by things like the reserve list, and these formats are still pretty expensive on Magic Online. Modern's a little bit less expensive than Legacy, but it's still pretty expensive in my opinion. Honestly, I don't really think there's any reason Legacy wouldn't just be as popular or more so than Modern, except for the fact that Modern's accessible. People just want to being able to change decks in a fluid manner is fun. Yes, you can save up and buy one Legacy deck, but it's hard and expensive to change Legacy decks a lot of the time. Alright, so we're definitely playing this. I think I'm just playing another one of these, right? And this is actually just a 2-turn clock. Oh, close, right? This is not another Noble Hierarch. Yeah, this bolt will hopefully be pretty good here. We're killing Noble Hierarchs. Well then. Well then. It's a 7/7, yep. I mean, that's kind of a land, right? Kind of. Look at our baby Nacatl. Look at our baby Nacatl. He's trying his best, but he's just not cutting it. Shh. Inside voice, Jacob. Teamer Battle Rage. Hey, calm down. It's okay. You're okay. Maybe I'm supposed to block the fish too because of Bolt. Sometimes these decks have a couple main deck bolts. Yeah, I could have jump blocked to potentially beat Bolt. I'm just clicking submit here. I think I'm just trading These Pridemage and this company for these. Are these bolts good enough in this matchup? These bolts might not be good enough in this matchup. Domri is for control decks. Death Shadow is not a control deck. I know there's this like really weird illusion or like idea perpetuated in the Magic community that like Death Shadow is an aggressive deck or is a control grindy deck. It's not. It's an aggro combo deck. This is not a matchup about grinding. This is a matchup about our opponent casting Temur Battle Rage and fucking killing us with giant creatures. That's what this matchup is about. It's not about generating card advantage. It's about trying not to die. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just swap these bolts out. These Pridemages aren't impressive, but again, I feel like the sideboard's built wrong, where I don't have the option to swap in other creatures for collected company hits when these Pridemages are bad. Death Shadow is not a control deck, yep. It's a tempo deck at best. At best, you can describe it as a tempo deck. Yes, it is a combo tempo deck. That is, I'll give you tempo. It's not really a mid-range deck. It's not looking to go to turn 12. It's not looking to go to turn 8 even. The Eidolon BBE. Yeah, the sideboard in this deck needs some work. The sideboard in this deck, I feel like Bloodbraid Elf was kind of a last-minute addition, kind of a hot mess. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Blood Moon in these matchups. I think if you think your matchup is really horrendous that you need to try and steal a free one with Blood Moon, go for it, but I think in general that card's not very good here. Stop. Few words if you need help with. You need help with. Your tablet different? What's wrong with your tablet? So. I think Blood Moon's also more free in your deck, Klutz, than it is in this deck. They took my Blessed Alliance. That's kind of interesting. Right on time, Noble Hierarch. You know, it's like the turn 4 Aether Vial, right? Just like, welp. I cast this and attack for 4 here, I think. I just need to try and kill them. I mean, it's free on your mana base. Like, my mana base isn't always going to have access. Like, basically every game you play Blood Moon in the Mardu deck, you're almost always going to have your swamp and a red source under it, right? Like, this deck is 3 colors. It's not a given that I'm going to have all of my basic lands when I play a Blood Moon out. So I think I'm jumping here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to jump here because I kind of want to play the Rallier next turn anyways, so I can crack a fetch and Rallier back this Noble Hierarch. I'm hitting Battle Rage for an infinite amount here. That pause makes me feel like they have Battle Rage. Yeah, I agree with that to an extent. I agree with that assessment that we'd be better off playing kind of other things than Blood Moon in this deck. Especially like Fulminator Mage is a great example of what I was talking about earlier, where that's a card that we could bring in matchups where some of our other creatures are bad and still keep our collected company hits the same. Just doing this. I died a Battle Rage this way. Do I die to Battle Rage? I actually don't think so. Yeah, let's do this. They'll block 1. I'll go up to 23. Are they casting a spell? We're reading Voice of Resurgence and reconsidering our life choices? Okay, good. They don't always not have one. A lot of the times they don't, but they don't. Sometimes they have a mountain. And I can use all of my mana here, so I kind of want to use all of my mana. And again, we're not dead to Temur Battle Rage here, right? Like, it's only 18. Right? It's only 18, and then we killed them on the backswing. So this is a Snapcaster Mage that I felt like they had last turn. They have Thought Scour in their bin, so it doesn't really do much here. It is legal to put a die on top of your deck at every REL. You want some pretzels? Alright, I can dish out some pretzels. You want some pretzels, Jacob? Here, bud. Yeah, the Bubble Hulk deck was sweet. They dead on board? No. It's unfortunate. They get to block 3 things, and then this only untaps creatures, it doesn't tap things. This card would be nuts if it was tap or untap. It's already nuts, but it would be super nuts if it was tap or untap. No, I don't think it's worth suiciding my board here. I think I'm just going to try and take them off of red and pass the turn. I'm just going to take them off of red and pass the turn. We can heal them, but it doesn't accomplish anything, right? Like, I'm trying to kill them. Like, this is kind of a delicate balance. Like, what's the difference between these things being 5/5s and 9/9s, right? Especially if I take them off of red mana. Yes, correct. That is against the rules. My favorite thing whenever people would put their packs on top of their deck, it's like, why is that there? It's like, because I have a trigger. It's like, are you drawing that card next turn? They're like, no. And it's like, well, then why is it on top of your deck? If you're not drawing it next turn, it probably shouldn't be on top of your deck. Another Snapcaster Mage. They have 7 cards in their hand here, so like, we're kind of boned. Blessed Alliance only makes them sacrifice an attacking creature, so killing the Snapcaster in combat and then alliancing them doesn't do anything. It's not attacking or blocking. Reveals their hand. Alright, I guess I'm gaining 4 here, right? Because again, I don't really want to give them health because I want to be able to race them here, which is the awkward thing. Alright, we're just handing out. This can't make them sacrifice blocking creatures. You're saying when they attack me? Why would they attack me with everything? This doesn't tap creatures. Chat, read the cards, chat. Bloodbraid Elf. I guess that's kind of big, right? 3 mana for a 6/6, I guess. God, fuck. They're not attacking, chat. If this doesn't make them sacrifice blocking creatures, it makes an opponent sacrifice an attacking creature. It's not attacking or blocking. Oh, we are playing a Wolf Run. I refuse to read in 2nd grade, and I also refuse now.
I got good taste.
Hell, I don't read the cards, which is why I always play Tron. My favorite judge calls when I was playing Magic competitively more was when people would call for a judge and like the judge would just come over and read the Magic card to the player. It's just like, they just read you your own card. Hey, Ratdos with that brand new Twitch Prime support. Thank you very much and welcome. I do appreciate that. As always, subs are the best way you can support my content here. I just no blocks here, right? And hope to rip removal or Bloodbraid. I guess I can just jump. About the same, right? Thank you for the Amazon fund money. Oh, baby. Oh, baby Bloodbraid. Spin the wheel, chat. Spin the wheel. Beep beep, hop in my Bloodbraid Elf shaped Jeep. Let's attack. This is all I have, opponent. This is the line. Yeah, got him. Boyo. I don't think I want bolts in my deck. Do I want bolts in my deck? Pridemage sucks pretty bad. Do we hate doing this? Is this unreasonable? What do we think of that? I think I like that. I think I'm gonna put some bolts back in my deck. What's the score? We're 1-1? Yeah, we're 1-1 and we're heading into game 3 against Shadow here. We died pretty badly to Storm. I'm partial to new bordered cards, so I like 9th edition more. Looking for a white source here. This is pretty good. If we hit like lands for the next 2 turns, our hand's gonna be pretty strong, right? White source. Well, I mean, the top end will be good at some point. We're gonna draw a Ghost Quarter, right? These are my cards, opponent. Do you think our poker hand is better than their poker hand? Do you think our poker hand is better than their poker hand? Lands, please. If they keep drawing nothing and we run some lands off here. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, BBE. This is probably dead to a fatal push off one of these fetch lands, but that's fine. BBE's over Coco's. This is what I got. Dismember, rude. Oh, please keep bricking on shadows. Please keep bricking on shadows. They keep bricking on threats. These Bloodbraid Elf should run them firmly into the ground. This looks like a delve threat. Nope, it's a shadow. Yep. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ding. Prez are done. Bum 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 bum. I think I'm just passing here. I don't think I want to make this a 6/6 just yet. I think I want to attack next turn. We have a bolt or a terminator or dismember here anyways. Yeah, that would have been a really bad attack for us. They'd have killed our thing and then eaten our Bloodbraid. Prepare yourselves, the Bloodbraids are coming. Bloodbraid Elf doesn't get stubborn denial, so that's 10 out of 10 the one I want to play. Yeah, I agree. I think Bloodbraid is much better than Coco a lot of the time. So they can snap dismember here. I have 4 cards. Probably losing one of these. Jacob. It's okay, bud. So they're gonna kill our Bloodbraid here and trade with the other one. I think we're just gonna accept that we're dead to Teamer Battle Rage here and not block next turn. Why do we just die to snap dismember? Use your words. Use your words. Come back in 10 minutes when you've discovered how to use the English words that you have. How are we dead on board? We're at 12. So what? We don't know that they have a battle rage. How are we dead? How do we just lose? Oh, they can dismember this. Okay, thank you. Alright. Alright. So the people that are getting timed out, you're not allowed to just say things like that aren't constructive in chat. If you're not being constructive, you don't get to post in chat. That's the rule. People just screaming things in the chat, you're less constructive than Jacob screaming in the background. Being specific is correct. Telling me specifics on why to not make the play is good. Just telling me I'm stupid and you're smarter than me and this play is bad doesn't help. It's not helpful. It's going all right. Jake's having a tough day, and Christy's caught late at work. It's definitely going to be the last league of the afternoon. That's a great draw. Is it a different opponent than we just played? It is. This deck is way less exciting than Polymorph. You're not wrong, Spittlebug. Definitely less exciting than Polymorph. We went 4-1 with Polymorph. The deck was great. Really, really great. Really like the Polymorph deck. It's a good draw. If we hit a land next turn, we should be able to run them out of this game, hopefully. The deck was actually really sweet, Klutz. It was really sweet. We're gonna make some changes and we're definitely running it back. Actually, someone extra has donated for us to run it back. I decree that fake news. Yeah, I agree. Modern was taking over Legacy as my favorite format even before the bans, and since the bans have kind of pushed Modern towards people playing more mid-range and fair decks, it's really become my favorite format again. You can probably play without the chalices in the Polymorph sideboard. They'll make like your Death Shadow matchup a little bit worse not having them, but that's probably about it. Yes, it's possible to get matched against the same opponent multiple times in the same league. Are we countering this? Unless they're playing Anger of the Gods in their main deck, this seems exceedingly loose. No, I think the whole deck's fine. I'd play that again. The deck's really sweet. Wow. Sure. Come on. Land for this Bloodbraid Elf. Land for this Bloodbraid Elf, please. Land for this Bloodbraid Elf, please. Tilt. I assume this is getting countered, and that's why they played through these. Gosh, they'd have been so dead if we hit a land there. It's not even that long a lot of the time. A lot of the times when I get re-queued back into people, it's only been a few turns. I guess they could have a Jace here. Electrolyze, maybe? Joke's on you, opponent. I needed that. Needed that to cast my lightning bolt. Let's hit a land so we can kill them with this Bloodbraid Elf, huh? Come on, come on. Daddy needs a land. Daddy needs a land. Beep, 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 beep. That doesn't quite do it. We're gonna get through the breach next turn and be really sad. Be really sad when they threw the breach us next turn. No, drawing Raging Ravine here was fine, because Blood Moon brings Raging Ravine into play untapped. God, fuck, we're getting through the breach. Oh, just Madcap. That's... I should have bolted them, right? I should have bolted them. Now we just need to draw planes. Yeah, that's usually what happens, Gideon Natra, which is crap. It's really, really bad user experience. Oh, this last turn would have been lethal. I guess it makes white mana, right? So I can cast this Pridemage now. To be fair, that interaction under Blood Moon used to be different until fairly recently. Until fairly recently, that interaction was very different. Yes, we can BB into another Pridemage, that is true. No blocks, opponent. They're gonna bolt this and then kill my board. Or another Electrolyze. Electrolyze this for 2. Clear my board. Snap bolt. Yep. Summoner's Pact for Blaine. Nope, just Zoo Beats. I'm really not a fan of this style of deck. It feels really anemic. Just like, doesn't feel genuinely powerful. Collected Companies just like this awkward magic card. There's not enough lands in the deck. Just like, it's a lot of things that are just like not firing well for us. Just pretty. I just don't even want to. Like, there's no, this sideboard is really bad too. Yeah, I guess I have like Ancient Grudge. Like, why aren't there Path to Exile somewhere in this 75? Yeah, I'm just not feeling it. The kids are having a bad day. I'm just gonna call it a day. I really don't want to finish this league. Yeah, I think these decks are pretty bad. At least built like this. I think if I wanted to play Bloodbraid Elf in a zoo style deck like this, I wouldn't do it alongside Collected Company. There were a couple different Tribal Flames-esque builds that put up 5-0 league results in the first batch of post-Bloodbraid, post-Jace leagues. And I think if I was interested in playing an aggressive deck in the format, I would be trying to work on the Tribal Flames build as opposed to trying to work on this shell with these Collected Companies that like make your sideboarding awkward and lots of other things. So at any rate, thank you everyone for watching. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. I might try and sneak back on tonight again after the kids go to bed. We'll see what the wife's plans are. At any rate, I will catch all of y'all later. Thanks everyone for watching, and big shout out to Anoronix and all the subs and resubs as always. Y'all are the reason I'm able to do what I do as often as I do.